So, it's Monday, and I did not upload the entire week after doing that one upload on Tuesday, which I felt was perfect because I got it out really fast. Anywho, welcome back to the channel. I'm Fate, and I do rent-a-girlfriend content. What else? Look at my channel. Look at what I do here. So today we're going to be taking a look at chapter 225. This is my reaction and my first impressions. If you guys are wondering why there's no voice in the background, it's because my friend today went to Disneyland. So unfortunately he will not be joining us today, but I'll do what I can to fill in the meme gaps. Maybe through my editing. I'm usually the guy who does the analysis. I do my memes on the scripts, not necessarily when I'm doing the talking, unfortunately. I do kind of know how to do the meme voices though. You know what I mean? I do know how to do the meme voices a little bit. So without further ado, let's mosey. Alright. Let me just get up in my seat. I don't know why. I really like jumping in my seat like that. Alright. Chapter 225. Let's dance. I pressed the wrong button. There we go. What did I say? I called it. I knew it would be a Ruka flashback. If you guys go back to 2 videos ago, I literally said, no, last video, I literally said there would be a Ruka flashback. It's Ruka focused. So this is something I didn't notice. Thank you, Sheer Killer, for pointing this out, because I wasn't sure and I had to ask.
Oh, the deception! The betrayal, man, you deceived me!
Vindication. God, I'm so good at calling this shit. Then kiss her, said Mommy. At that moment, the course of Ruka's love flashes through her mind. Ruka. Oh, interestingly, this is an image that Reiji posted on Twitter too. He posted 2 images of Ruka. He posted the one I shared earlier, and he posted this one, but this one was incomplete. And so was that one, I guess. Oh, you came out sooner from the haunted house.
You're still too weak.
My heart was racing. It was really scary. Rub it in. I wonder if that's gonna come out now.
Nope.
Yeah, my heart was just pounding. It's the best, isn't it? Maybe saying 24/7, 365 is an exaggeration. But I was searching for it. 24 hours a day, 364 days a year. Always nagging at the back of my mind. That's Spider-Man. You know, he went to see fucking Spider-Man before he wrote this chapter. You know he went to see Spider-Man before he wrote this chapter. Oh my god, Reiji, you son of a gun. Oh, this is so cheeky, I love it. But speaking of which, No Way Home was a great film. Always nagging at the back of my mind. It felt like someone told me I was a defective product. Oof. And I'd always wish for the same thing. On the strips of paper for Tanabata. Ruka mentions the Tanabata Festival, which if you guys don't know is basically called the Star Festival. It's a festival that takes place on the 7th day of the 7th month, and it's basically celebrating when 2 deities or 2 stars meet. It's essentially a meeting of fate, where stars Altera and Vega meet, or the Chinese deities Orihime and Hokobashi meet. And basically it's supposed to be this magical day where you put your wish on a bamboo tree and you pray for that wish to come true. Interestingly enough, in some regions, this is actually celebrated in August, which happens to be Ruka's birth month. The whole point of that entire scenario is to really show how desperate, how much Ruka wants this, how much she wants to feel alive, because deep down she feels hollow. Deep down she feels like she has nothing here. I wish I would get better soon. Ruka Sarashina 2-3. Oh, that's sad, dude. Okay, he's already making me feel sad for Ruka. I wonder if everyone else is gonna feel like this, because Reiji's really good at making these like story-focused narratives where it's like telling a single story really quickly. That's why when you showed up, I really believed it, you know? That you're my knight in shining armor. You're the prince who pulled me out from this monochrome world. Good use of words.
I speak English.
And yeah, this was redrawn too. He's doing a lot of redrawing, and I think the reason for it is because this is a finality to a lot of these characters' arcs. So it only makes sense that he would do a lot of redrawing. But you are already in love with someone, and that person was so beautiful, so mature. Never thought even once that I stood a chance. Sometimes I'd get so anxious. It's your 8-month, 10-day anniversary. Cheers. Recontextualizing it. He's giving us reasons as to why Ruka acts like she does. Very smart. Isn't this design a bit over the top? Even for that, it's too much. Apparently a friend's uncle owns the store, so I got this specially prepared for us. 8-month, 10-day anniversary. That just kicked in. Because we're gonna celebrate 250 days together as well. Having morso with the person you love is the best. Come on, let's go. We're gonna go to the movie theater and then to the Ferris wheel. There's so many things I want to do. Look at that girl, she's so thin, she's so fair-skinned.
Staples! Whee!
But for real, what are you gonna do? Huh? It's not like you can keep presenting a rental girlfriend as a real one forever. To your family, I mean. Because Grandma is looking for an heir. I'm talking about Chizuru-san. I understand you don't want to hurt your grandma, but all this has got to end someday. Oh, there's the image. I'm not saying all this to plant a flag before Chizuru-san or something. I'm worried about both of you. I won't do wrong by you. Not you. Not Mizuhara. I'll end it the right way, so neither of you gets hurt. I'll protect you. I swear I will.
They're the same picture.
Yeah, that's exactly what he did. So interesting thing to point out here. Maybe I'll come back to this a little later. Yeah, maybe I'll come back to this a little later, but just a quick point here. This is actually how Ruka feels, and the things that she does during this arc come from a source of desperation, as she's essentially been pushed into a corner. And Ruka pretty much represents adolescence and innocence through this entire arc. So the choices that she makes is not a choice she really wants to make, it's just a choice made out of desperation, and it ends up kind of feeling kind of tragic, because there's a lot of dramatic irony in her choices. Let's call Grandma right now then. Wait, what led to this idea? How can you say that when you've got such a cute and real girlfriend right here? I don't see how this has to do with it. Sometimes I'd get so anxious about what to do if things went on this way forever. Because I love you. I really do.
My emotions! My emotions!
Oh, Mommy has more. Oh, God.
Go on. Kiss her.
What?
Gonna cry?
Just a blank stare. Yo, when you give her a look like that, she's got you in fucking checkmate. Jesus Christ. Oh, thanks, guys. Thanks. Say something, anything. Thanks, guys. Anyone gonna call her out on her shit? Oh, no. He cracked like a the little thing on his fucking jaw. Oh, man. Nailing in. What do you mean, Mommy-chan? Kiss her? In front of everybody? So many people around, I couldn't possibly. Chapter 225, The Girlfriend in Paradise, Part 37. Wow, now we get the intro and we see Ruka. Oh no. There's no way I could do such a thing. God, and it's still a scene, and it's like progressively getting worse. Jesus.
What's this turned into? You know Chizuru-san's a rental girlfriend? His grandma? Everybody, they all know? And a kiss? She did this because she knows the rental girlfriend can't do such a thing. The phone. Did she drop it on purpose? Grandma Megami also wants to put an end to all of this. Right here, right now. When the time comes, what'll you do? I do. What else? I don't need to do a thing. If we just sit back and watch, their sham relationship will simply end. There's no need to help Kazuya-kun and Chizuru-san. Because I've been searching. I always have. Longer than Chizuru-san has. Way longer.
Oh, the dramatic irony in these words.
It's those two that are wrong. Always putting off. Always avoiding it.
I'll end it the right way, so neither of you gets hurt.
Kazuya-san, we're bound by fate, you know?
I really want to see the clean scan of these.
We're the most special couple ever made for each other in the whole world, you know? Is it wrong for me to think that way? That it would be nice if you broke up with Chizuru-san? Is it wrong for me to wish for it? For Kazuya-kun to become mine, and mine alone? Because I'll work hard, so that you'll make me more and more. I'll work really hard.
Oh man, this is tragic as fuck.
I'm sorry, Kazuya-kun. I'm sorry.
We finally get to see what she said! Yes!
I want to ask you one more thing. Why did you invite me as well to this trip? Usually, I think I'm just a third wheel, but there's my compulsive lying as well. Always darting about here and there around the two of them. And isn't it Chizuru-san you want to talk with anyway? Even if I'm a friend of Chizuru-san's, it's not like you need to go out of your way to invite me. If I were in your shoes, I probably wouldn't invite someone like that.
What are you saying? The answer to that is simple. I like you too, Ruka Dono. Your lovely voice, your spirited smile. By just being around you, I start feeling young again. Ruka Dono, I love you as well. Besides, that compulsive lying issue seems to be a thing of the past these days. Interesting timing, wouldn't you say? Pardon me, sir, but there are other guests around. I'm sorry, just a bit longer. We need more time. Just a few seconds more. Kazuya.
Everyone, please. The look on your faces are scaring me.
She made the choice.
Since the two of them saying they're dating, why not just leave it at that?
Oh, mommy got pissed. Mommy got pissed. Yo, the next 2 chapters are gonna be fire. Fire. Okay, let's read. She seals away her intentions deep within her heart, with the provisional girlfriend, using all it takes to give a helping hand. Now how does this change Kazuya's fate? Next time, Because I Love You, we'll also have the lead color page to commemorate the climax of the Paradise arc. Yeah, baby! We're getting to the climax of Paradise! Yeah! That's what I'm talking about! So, it's really unfortunate that... Here, let's do some backtracking. Backpedal! Okay, so, a few things I wanted to touch on. I'm gonna try to keep this a little simpler, a little more focused. So, the whole Ruka flashback, it really hammers in Ruka's feelings and what she's been feeling this entire time, and what she's essentially going through. So, one thing I did essentially touch on a little bit earlier on in this segment is that I kind of pointed out how what Ruka's feeling in all of this, what Ruka's doing in this arc, we know what Ruka's doing in this arc is despicable. You're not supposed to like it, you're not meant to like it, that's the whole point of this. A lot of the bad choices the characters make in this story, you're not supposed to like it, it's raising a moral dilemma. That's the idea. It's raising questions and topics to discuss. And unfortunately, a lot of people, when we look at characters, surface level wise, we immediately judge them. We immediately judge the characters. We don't understand what the author's trying to question. So a lot of times when we're seeing stories, we kind of try to project ourselves into the story. And, that's fine. Sometimes you have to kind of project an aspect of yourself within the story to relate to it, to understand it, to connect with it. This is why superheroes are so popular, because superheroes are a way for us to see our traumas put into a physical action. Like, for example, Batman represents a lot of our internal struggles despite being a complete rich dude with money and shit. Like, he essentially represents how, despite having a terrible life, he raises past that and he becomes better. What this series does is a little bit different. What this series goes out of its way to do is kind of talk about these things in a more complex fashion. What would people do who are fucked up, who had situations in their life where they become desperate? In the case of Ruka, what would they do? How far would they be pushed? What would that do to them being pushed to their absolute limit like this? And this arc, I have said this since the arc has started, has essentially been pushing Ruka to change, to accept that change, because it's not an easy choice to make. And you see how she keeps trying to deny it, she keeps trying to run away from it. Really, nobody really deserves to be placed in public like this, to be attacked like this, to be shunned like this by your family, by the people around you, by your ex-girlfriend who fucking showed up at your private family party and just attacked you in the middle of public and did this all on purpose. It's sad to see, because you're seeing this family really fall apart. And this is what I meant in the last episode, where I said there's a very real depiction of familial discourse within this, because they're showing this in the grayest area possible. You're seeing a family genuinely show their worst and their best, and the flashback with Ruka's character, when we see her talking to Grandma Negami, is actually really important to what I was just saying, because you see how Grandma Negami isn't inherently a terrible person. She's not a terrible person, but she has qualities that hurt people around her. In this case, Kazuya and Chizuru, because it's tragic what Negami's choices are when she's talking to Chizuru. Because if you see the flashback with Sayuri literally warns her. She's just like, Chizuru is a good person, but she's at the same time, she doesn't open up about her feelings. She doesn't show these things. And when placed in the moment, we all act reactionary. We all act instinctively. We all look at things extremely black and white. And you see this through the family. You see how no matter what Kazuya says, no matter what he does, even if he's lying to literally have a kamikaze attack. That's the point of what Kazuya's choice is. He's literally having a kamikaze attack here where he's willingly letting himself sink and die because he can get away with it. He can lie to his family and be hurt, but he's an only child. He can get away with it. Sure, maybe Kibe is like the second son of the family, but Kazuya can get away with it. Chizuru, on the other hand, can't. And Chizuru doesn't deserve this kind of insult and pain. Sure, Chizuru perpetuated this issue, but that does not make Chizuru a bad person. The series is not trying to excuse Chizuru's actions. This is why this even occurred in the first place. What it's trying to do is have a moral dilemma about lying, what it means to actually lie, what it means to have and make these choices. Do lies not have truth at all? Are lies really just that black and white? All these things are happening very intentionally. There's a great deal of questions being raised to make you think. And unfortunately, I can't recall all of them because, again, the thing that I said before, where when we talk about this story, when we're talking about this series, when we're looking at one chapter, we only have information that's in a bubble. We don't have all the information that we need to have a proper discussion. This is why I prefer to write scripts, because I essentially get all my thoughts on paper and I'm like, okay, I can go over this carefully and slowly and say exactly what I want to say, because I can't cover 37 parts in one discussion. I can't do that. And I feel like this series has a lot of these questions. The whole point of Ruka's character is to grow. Ruka even says these things. Ruka even says a lot of the stuff that's been going on where she essentially tells the audience they've essentially dug their own graves. They did this to themselves. Why should I care? I should just let this happen. And she even points out the phone. Did she drop this on purpose? Ruka is surprisingly analytical. She's able to read the room. But Ruka also, at the same time, has her own feelings that essentially cloud her judgment. This is the whole point of Ruka, is that she's able to understand what's going on, but she lets her feelings cloud her judgment and she becomes reactionary. So in this moment where she's having real introspection, where she's really delving into what she truly feels, she'd rather actually make the choice that is important rather than make the choice that is easy. The choice that we could get away with. And this is something a lot of us have to deal with. This is something a lot of us have to come to terms with when we're growing up. When we really have to face aspects of ourselves and really make that change in our lives, where we have to make the choice that's hard and not the choice that's easy. And I think this is what made this chapter really good, in my opinion. And to build on what I was saying earlier, this is another thing that is tied to adolescence and innocence. And it's essentially, I like to call it the first relationship syndrome. At least like, I don't know if that's an actual term, please understand this. And it's pretty much when you have your first relationship and it feels magical, amazing, and wonderful, and basically you start having tunnel vision. You start thinking that person is your soulmate, you're destined to be your perfect one another, and you don't want to let it go. You become codependent. You really need this person in your life because if you lose them, you think you can't have anything else. And you see how Ruka's mentality of that throughout the series is getting slowly and slowly more challenged. Because she's becoming more and more challenged, she becomes more insecure. This is the point of the flashback that we get where she remembers the girlfriend and the parents, where Chizuru is visiting Kazuya's home, and Ruka remembers that moment where she feels extremely insecure and she jumps on the kiss to Kazuya. And this is, again, very important to Ruka's character, as basically she's multi-layered too. Like, she seems like she's just a plot device to move the plot forward, and let's be real, that is an aspect of her character. That's an aspect of Mami's character, that's an aspect of Ruka's character. The plot devices used to move the plot forward and to create challenges for the characters. In this case, Mami is the true main challenge, while with Ruka's case, it's become a way for her to grow. So with Ruka, this gives her an extra layer to make her feel more like a character. The same is applied to Mami. Through Mami's flashback, this gives her an extra layer and makes her an actual character that acts as a direct challenge to everything Kazuya and Chizuru stands for. In this case, what Kazuya and Chizuru stand for actually act as a direct challenge to what Ruka stands for. And that's kind of what makes her a antagonist of sorts, but she's not really an antagonist. She's more of like I don't know, she's not really a full-on antagonist like Mami, and that's kind of what makes Ruka interesting to me. She acts as a sort of challenge to Chizuru and Kazuya, but at the same time, she's growing through her relationship with the characters. This is another aspect of what I was saying before, and I think this is one of the reasons Kazuya acts the way that he does in this whole situation, where essentially everything Kazuya says, everything Kazuya does, he's not blaming anybody, he's taking the blame on himself, and he's willing to go down in this kamikaze route. And because of that, Ruka remembers these words, because this is definitely something Kazuya would say, this is definitely something Kazuya would do. And to see that someone would do this for her, and she wouldn't do that for them, is a tragic sense of irony. And so, when you think about it like this, she's making choices that hurt other people to benefit herself. And that is essentially dramatic irony, where we know what Ruka's doing wrong, but she doesn't. And Ruka even does realize a bit what she's doing wrong here. And essentially Mami acts as a direct challenge to all of that, and in the same sense, Negami's choices here, emulated by Mami's choices, also serves to act on that. So essentially, Negami is becoming a great evil here, and that is kind of sad to see, because you see the positives that Negami actually does have, that she does care about these people. Negami is a loving, caring person, but at the same time, she also clearly judges her grandson. She's too harsh on her grandson, and her mentality about all of this is hurting the people that she loves. And when Ruka sees that she truly does love her, she's truly not a terrible person, seeing her make this choice, she doesn't want to see this familial strife continue to happen. And a cute little note here with the flashback, this is almost identical to a face Chizuru made in when she's asking like Kazuya stuff, and Chizuru like asking questions where she's trying to like kind of hide her feelings and what she really feels. And this is kind of the same thing with Ruka. She's like, I'm not really wanted here. She's essentially saying exactly what the audience feels, where a lot of people probably thought Ruka is a third wheel. We don't love her, we don't care for her, we don't want her here. And she's essentially voicing that through her words here, because she kind of realizes this. Ruka realizes that she's not really wanted, she's just a third wheel, she doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. And a lot of people have had this mentality about Ruka's character. So when she says this and she's looking away and she has her face hidden in the shadows, it's very much indicative of what we feel about Ruka's character, and that kind of helps bolster that. And so when Grandma Negami says, "We do love you," Grandma Negami in a way is kind of indicative of us as the audience in some way, shape, or form here and there. Like in the beginning, when Grandma Negami says the bad thing, when Grandma Negami acts the way that she does about Kazuya, we in a way act like that. But there's an extra layer to Negami that actually makes her her own character. And so, when Grandma Negami says that she does love Ruka, she does care for her, she's representing the audience that does care for her, that she does matter here. And because she does matter, she needs to make these hard choices. So, in a way, I do like that little introspection from Reiji's writing here, where he's essentially showing us how we, the audience, are kind of connected to Grandma Negami, but at the same time, he's also showing us how we, the audience, are not directly her, because she represents things that we don't represent. She represents the many facets of this, and I think this also shows how Reiji actually understands us as the readers, and this is why he presents the scenarios that he does. And this is where I kind of want to end on the note that this arc is a good arc. I just think that it's a very slow arc, and the fact that the arc is willing to go slow to provide this characterization, to provide these moments of characterization, of character building, essentially, rather than fully focusing on the development and the work, actually helps to bolster this entire scenario that we find ourselves in. Because if we did not get those moments, if we did not get all this retrospect and looking back and thinking about these things, these moments wouldn't hit nearly as hard. And so I think it's only fitting that the arc was slow. The arc was a slow burn. I know it led to many people feeling a sense of burnout. But for that very reason, I also think this arc is really good. and it deserves a little bit more love, especially when read as a big cohesive thing, because it is a good arc, it is a good story, and I don't think any part of it was particularly bad. Even like some of the pool chapters, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people didn't like, I actually thought they were okay. I didn't think they were bad, and each one of them actually introduced something that was somewhat important to what was going on to help build character and some of the choices that the characters were making. And so, with that being said, I think that Ruka getting this moment of introspection, of looking back and getting all these reveals and stuff, is only fitting for what Chizuru will inevitably end up doing. Because I think when we finally get to Chizuru, and again in this chapter we don't see Chizuru's face, having Kazuya already having confessed. With that being said, I think once we actually finally get to Chizuru's perspective, we will get a lot of flashbacks, a lot of explanations, and a lot of reasons as to what's going on with her character. And so when she inevitably makes the choice to say what she's going to say, which is, I do love him, this is what's going to end up happening. We're going to get a lot of flashbacks, very much akin to this. I think we're even going to get the Umi reveal from chapter 179. Let me double check if I missed anything. Remember, this is only my first impression. This isn't everything I've had to say about said chapter. If you want me to delve more deeply into said chapter, let me know, because I will gladly make a proper review. This isn't really a review, this is my first impressions, my immediate thoughts, and I didn't put anything and organize anything together. So, because I love you, I'm convinced it's Chizuru. I'm convinced it's Chizuru. I feel it in my gut, in my heart. I feel it. So, I'm gonna stop here. I don't want to just drop everything on y'all. I'm just going to say I'm extremely excited for the next chapter. I think the next chapter will be fantastic. We even have a color page. It's the climax of paradise. Like, shit's gonna get fucking wild next chapter. So I'm extremely excited. I think the next chapter will be fantastic, and it's unfortunate that we have to wait another week, but I hope this video will keep you at bay. I will try to make other videos, discuss other things to maybe also help keep you at bay and discuss more topics that are interesting in all of this and why this is in fact a good series, despite what many people think. So, if you guys enjoy this video, if you guys enjoyed this content, please subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to keep up with the uploads. Sorry my friend Hiro isn't here today, he is on Disneyland. The son of a gun. And follow me on Twitter if you're interested, because I post a lot of things on Twitter about this series and about other series. I'm particularly talking about My Dress Up Darling right now, which is not only a great series, but one I can compare to this one in a really interesting fashion, as they do a lot of very similar things in terms of writing, but they have a very inherent difference in them that I think really highlights the difference between this story and that story. Not necessarily which one is better, but what they do differently and what makes them work differently. I've been Fate, and I will see you guys next time. Remember, let's mosey.
Maybe I was wrong about you. Am I finally getting through? I'll rid this world of pointless wars, Jack. I was wrong. You're not greedy. You're batshit insane!